Hello and welcome to Recession Proof Marketing. My name is Lindsey Miller and I am the lead guide and owner of Content Journey, an SEO and content marketing firm. Today, we're going to be talking about how to continue marketing during a recession. So a little bit of housekeeping for all of you who've never attended a webinar, which I'm sure is no one here. If you have questions, you can post them in a couple of places, either in the chat or in the Q&A place. So I will try to keep track of those as I'm talking, and you can interrupt me. It's not going to offend me at all, or we can get them at the end and make sure that we get all of your questions answered. If I don't get to them, or if you need to leave early, you can always email me, lindsey@contentjourney.com, and I'd be happy to have a private conversation with you about any marketing questions that you have, even if I can't help you with those. Okay, so let's get started. Let's talk about marketing in a recession. And why can we talk about this today? Because we started our business in a pandemic, and who better to talk to you about working through a recession than someone who started a successful business in the middle of a pandemic. So we're celebrating our 2-year anniversary this month, actually. Content Journey is, and we started in 2020 in the middle of a pretty tumultuous year. And 5 of the clients who started with us that year said that they had the best year that they ever had in 2020 and 2021. And it was because they invested in their digital marketing. A few of them invested in ways that they had never invested before, and it paid off for them. And so we learned a lot of lessons, not only starting our own business and finding clients, but the ways that we helped our clients reinvest their own marketing dollars and talked to them about the problems that they were facing and through these really scary times. And it was really great. And we're going to talk about some of the clients and what we did for them as we continue through today. So this actually came from the Harvard Business Review from 2020, because it says marketing in a recession will never be easy, largely because it often involves going against instincts and standard operating norms. Because what we want to do, and I have these thoughts too, is save money, and which is also what we want to do. And where can we cut? Where can we cut our budget? Where can we save? How do we look at our budget and find those savings? And marketing is typically one of the first places that people cut from. And it feels like it's an easy place to cut from. I don't think that it's a smart decision always. There are some places of a marketing budget where you can. But whenever you succeed in recession, or you succeed in a pandemic, you do that whenever you go against your instincts and some of these operational norms. And whenever you do that, that's how you get on the other side of this. And here's some compelling evidence. So this is a credit union that started with us and previous to our anniversary in August. So they started with us in early 2020 in February. So even before the pandemic started, they had decided to invest in their digital marketing. And they said that 2020 was their best year ever. They'd been in business since 1960, and we started working on their SEO and their content. They were are a local company. So they were only in Oklahoma City and the surrounding area. And so they were very localized, and we just went heavy in content, being very helpful, giving what we call unselfish marketing, which we're going to talk about later, and just did all of the right things. And it really paid off for them. And banking and credit unions, when it wasn't an easy time for them either. They need people to come in to open a bank account, and so they were really able to thrive in 2020 and 2021. But the best thing about what they did with their marketing investment during a really, really difficult year, and what we can learn about that now while we're on the cusp of potentially another recession, is that it's still paying off for them. So this is their analytics screenshot from comparing January to August of 2022 from 2021, and they've grown another 123%. And that's because when you put the things in place and you do it the right way, it pays dividends over and over and over again. And that's because we have the microwave versus the crock pot. Now, I also happen to be from Oklahoma, and I don't think everybody listening today is, and I can see some of the names, and I looked up some of the company URLs, and I know that we have people represented from all over the country and a few people outside of the United States. But crock pots are very popular in the Midwest of the United States. And so if you're not familiar, whenever you cook food in a crock pot, you set it for 8 hours and you don't lift that lid and you don't change the temperature and you just put all of your ingredients in there and you let it do what it's supposed to do. And you just trust the process and you just trust that you have the right ingredients at the right place, at the right temperature to give you a delicious meal at the end of it. A microwave, however, gives you really fast results. You can have popcorn in 2 minutes. You can have a steaming hot soup in 1 minute. But whenever it gets done, it's done. So at that 30 seconds, it's over. And this is how we describe ad dollars versus content marketing and SEO. So our ads are our microwaves. They work. They work really well. They work really fast. And when you pop that out, when you get those dollars out, it quits working. As opposed to your crock pot, it sits there, you put all of the pieces together, you have to chop everything, you have to put a lot of time and effort into measuring all of your ingredients, putting it all together. But once it gets there and once it cooks and it sits there for a long time, 8, 12 hours sometimes, at the end of it, you're left with a delicious meal that could feed your entire family. And so that's the difference when we think about a crock pot and a microwave, and why I personally love the crock pot method of SEO and content marketing is because I know when I do it the right way, it's going to work for me for a really long time. So SEO and content marketing, it's the best long-term strategy. And when done correctly, when done with data, it is going to work every single time. And just like our business in Oklahoma City that we showed you, it continues to work. The content that we built for them in 2020 is still working for them in 2022. We're building on it constantly. Sure, we're going back and we're looking at it. We're making sure that it's still working like it's supposed to, and we're updating it whenever we need to. But that one-time effort is still paying off. So there isn't a better long-term investment strategy to recession-proof your business. Okay, we're 8 minutes into the webinar, and I gave you the lead, but that's okay. We're going to keep going. So here's a quick definition check, because I've said SEO, I've said search engine optimization, I've said content marketing, and this is important because this is where Lindsey Miller and Content Journey are different. So for me, SEO and content are interchangeable. There are a lot of SEO agencies out there that do SEO, and some of you may have attended our Shady Agency webinar before. If not, you can find that on our website. And so if you are paying someone to do SEO and you don't see content on your site from that effort, then they're probably not doing enough for you, in my opinion. And then in content marketing is the creation of the research that comes from your SEO. And so those things are really important to distinguish between the two of those, and to know whenever I talk about them that they're interchangeable, and you can't have one without the other, at least whenever I'm speaking, to get the results that you want to. So the crockpot method really only works with that. So this is Kenna, our content director, is not going to be happy with this resource because it is all the way from 2005, but it is an actual study. And so this comes from the abstract from this research. And they looked at, I think, 154 businesses. And they said that firms that have a proactive marketing response during a recession achieve superior business performance even during that recession. So basically, they are turning adversity into advantage. And that's what we need to be talking about today. That's what our 5 clients did in 2020. That's what we did as Content Journey, being like even creating a business in 2020 during the pandemic. And it's what every single person listening to this today has the opportunity to do, is if we just like go through that uncomfortable space, like that Forbes article said, so we go against what our natural instincts are telling us to do, we can turn adversity into advantage. And here's a couple of ways that you can go back to your business or go back to your clients right now and start doing that. So first things first, look inside your own house. It's cheaper and easier to retain your existing clients than it is to find new ones. And so look at them. Are you delighting them? Is everything, is there anything that you need to do differently for your current clients? Think about your offerings and services. Do you need to strengthen them? Are there holes or processes that need to be tightened up? How can you delight your clients? One of the things that we're talking about at Content Journey is maybe we're going to be doing Christmas in August. Maybe we're going to be sending presents to everyone this month instead of December, just to remind everybody that we appreciate them, that we love having them as our clients, and that we are going to be here with them through whatever is going to come. And we may even share some of the stories that helped us get through 2020 and some of the successes that we were able to do for other clients, and that we're going to be doing it for them too. And so what can you do? Look at your own house and make sure that the clients that you do have, you're going to keep with you if we are in fact going into recession. Next, your marketing messages need to empower and encourage. And again, so this is coming from a research study. So this is from the Marketing in the Era of Accountability. And basically, the companies that focused on emotional engagement turned out to be more profitable. Now, this was comparing messages that touched on emotion over messages that talked over transactions. So messages that offer discounts or special offers during a difficult time over we're in this with you type of messaging, or we understand how you are and or how you're feeling. And so think about empowering messaging, encouraging messaging, and look at what the companies who have millions of dollars to spend on their marketing and advertising did over the last couple of years. So Coca-Cola with their focus on the frontline workers and other messages that we saw from really large companies that weren't necessarily trying to keep afloat like so many of us were, and were able to do that, but they changed how they were messaging, and we can learn from that, so that as we continue to market for ourselves and our clients, we don't need to focus on just discounts and promotions and special offers, but instead lead with emotion and engagement and humanity, and it really will go a lot farther. And next is assessing your brand voice overall, looking at your social media. Do you sound really robotic in your social? Are you really trying to touch other people in a more proactive way and help them, or come across as more personable and human? And so look at that. Look at some of those touch points as for people that are in your audience or in your community, current customers, people who are just assessing you. How do they see you during this time. You probably have automated emails that go out, nurture campaigns. Go ahead and relook at those too. And we're keeping in mind that there are people who are facing hardship. And so if people are facing hardship, how are they reading your communications? How are they seeing your social media? How are they reading your emails? And so keep that in mind. And then old content. So one of the things that we did at Content Journey, and one of the things that we try to do always for our clients, is we take off some of the mental load of thinking about these things. But it's a good example is as soon as maybe like mask mandates were lifted or people started not working from home as much, we had a lot of content or even photos and social media things that mentioned all of that. So we had to go through and do a lot of content audits and say, like, is this still appropriate? Is this still something that we want to talk about for this brand? And obviously we would do that in conjunction with the client we were doing it for. But I think that is something to consider. We don't know what lies ahead for us. We can plan as best we can, but it is something that we can go ahead and assess now. We can assess our brand voice, we can assess our old content, and we can keep these things in mind as whatever happens moves forward financially for all of us, and think, okay, if tough times do lie ahead, then maybe we hold back on the cheery things and we come more forward with human understanding of where people are at. And our clients, our customers, our community, they'll appreciate it and they'll remember it. Next, look at your competitors. This is one of my favorite things, and why, again, those 5 original clients from 2020 did so very well for us, because many of their competitors stopped their marketing spend, and that was just a major opportunity for us. And truly, it was one of the reasons why Content Journey was so very successful, and why our clients were so very successful, is because as their competitors pulled back, they were investing. And so we were able to take advantage of the competitors feeling scared. And again, going back to that early slide, they didn't go against their core instincts. They went with them and they pulled back on that spend, and we capitalized on it. And so it worked out really, really well for the people. That not only worked for us, but that worked with other companies and other companies that did the same. I saw some statistics in, I don't know, early 2021, that marketing spend actually went up like 290% overall. But if you looked at individual companies, they were all pulling back. But the people who invested in, they really were winning big. And so this means if you're looking at your competitors' marketing, they are watching yours too. And this is something to remind your clients is, I understand everyone is feeling uneasy. I feel it too, but our competitors are watching what we're doing. And so if we stop because we feel scared, they're going to capitalize on us stopping. And so we just have to go against some of those scary instincts and keep moving. Next is go ahead, let's look at the budget and let's figure out which parts we're going to invest in and where we can cut. Obviously, during a recession, your marketing needs to be effective. I know that sounds silly, like shouldn't marketing always be effective? Well, I mean, yes, but there are always times that we can take risks. There are times we can take chances. We can say, hey, let's do this thing for 120 days or 90 days, and let's watch the numbers and see if it works. I tell a lot of people sometimes, like, marketing is educated guesses. It's not science. Like, it's not like we're sitting here putting chemicals together and making like hypothesis, but in some ways that's exactly what happens. Is we say, I've seen this work with other people and I have this educated guess, and let's put like $5,000 towards this thing for 90 days and see what happens. But recession may not be the best time for that. It may not be time for those risky moves of what does $15,000 get us at this point. So what is effective? What is going to work? And where can we do that? And that's why I'm going to tell you about a mental health and addiction recovery center. So again, this is one of our 2020 clients. And here's where they were in 2020. They went to a lot of in-person events. So for mental health and addiction recovery, I did not know this at the time, they go to a lot of conferences because they want to make connections with therapists because they will refer their clients to their center whenever they need help. So they would go to a lot of these conferences, and then they would invite the therapists to their facility for in-person events so they could show them around and tell them how amazing it was. And then they would spend about $10,000 a month in advertising. And so when all of the in-person events got canceled, when all the conferences were canceled, the speaking engagements were done, really all they were left with were ads. And what was their competition doing? Their competition was doing the exact same thing. And so the marketing firm that they had at the time just kept saying, well, all we know to do is to put more money in ads. And so they came to us after their marketing firm had suggested them spending $15,000 to $20,000 a month in ads. And instead we took their budget and we changed everything. So we started hosting webinars. We created ebooks from those webinars. We started having virtual experiences with those therapists. So Zoom meetings, essentially, where they were talking through and doing tours. And then we went to SEO and content. So just to our crockpot method that I love so dearly. And we went back to what are people searching on the web and how do we create those answers? And this is the screenshot you can see right here. We went from their traffic in January to December, and this is only their organic. I did not pull up their advertising to show you that piece, but just their organic traffic was 22,000 people in 2020. In 2021, we had 313,000 people visit. So overall, you can see that was a 720% increase, but for organic, that is a 1,286% increase. And we started working with them in September of 2020. So you can see how things can change when you take that budget and you reallocate it to things that you know works. Overall, we saved them money. They weren't paying for plane tickets. They weren't paying for booths. We saved them money even off of their proposed ad budget and put it into things that we knew were working. And overall, like over the years, we still work with this client. I looked last night, and just so everyone here knows, they're now at over 3,000% increase in organic traffic from 2020, because all of the work that we started in September of 2020 is still working for them, and we still continue to create for them in very specific ways. And yeah, because they continue to invest in the things that work and moved it away from things that don't. So look at your budget, figure out during the recession or anytime really, what's working, what's effective, and where does your money need to go? And that's the lesson to learn here. Reallocate your budget. I think I spoke to it before I moved my slide. Sorry. Oh, and my share screen is a little bit behind. Apologize for that. I'm going to stop for a second, take a drink of water, and see if there are any questions or anything in the chat from anyone. I only have it on host of panelists. Okay. I don't see anything yet. Okay. All right. All right, let's keep going. So when you look at your budget, it doesn't mean just cutting straight across the board. There are good costs. And like, for example, and I know I pick on ads a lot. But we buy ads. You may actually be in this webinar today or listening to this because you saw an ad. Yes, I am the organic content person. I love organic content, but I think that there is a reason to invest in advertising as well. And even though we are on the cusp of what people say is a recession, we're going to continue investing in ads. And so there are good costs. I have looked at the budget. I've assessed that for my own company and decided that that is still something that I'm going to be investing in. So look at that. Don't just say, okay, this thing is a straight cut, and make sure that you're looking at that. Okay, I know I'm from Oklahoma, but I had to say it, but it's not our first rodeo. We've all been here. We went through 2020. We went through 2021. We've made it on the other side. I know that I am like preaching to the choir. If you are here, even if you are like me and you have a baby business that's only been around for 2 years, we made it on the other side of the pandemic. We can handle a recession. We thrived through the pandemic. We can make it through a recession. And one of the things that we know is that over and over and over, those that continue their marketing efforts are going to recover quicker and that's even if they even see a hit. So one of the things that, and I'll share this, everyone's talking about all of these tax credits and things that you can get, and it sounds so great. That slide's really slow. It sounds so great to get those, but you have to have actually seen a dip in revenue in order to get those tax credits. And so Content Journey, like we don't qualify for any of those because we didn't actually see a dip through 2020, 2021, or any of 2022 so far. And so it's because we didn't discontinue any of our efforts. And so if you continue just like doing the things that you know work, it will pay off. If you see a hit, those that keep just doing those marketing efforts, keep their advertising efforts going, and just keep doing the things that have always worked for them, they're going to recover quicker than those who don't. And again, let's go back to our competitor slide. There will be competitors who are going to keep going. There are going to be competitors who don't cut their budgets, who just keep going through all of this. And the potential customers are going to go to them because they are going to be keeping that peace of mind, that PIECE of mind, because the part of the brain that has seen that brand, that name over and over and over again is going to remember them. And if you go quiet all of a sudden and your competitors are out there still doing the thing, then when it comes time for a purchase, somebody's going to be remembered, and we want it to be you. And this is my favorite. So this is one thing that we talk about a lot here at Content Journey is unselfish marketing. So by creating valuable and helpful content for your audience, over time, they will become your customers. It's low cost, and yet it's highly effective. It is SEO. It is content marketing. It's unselfish marketing. It is saying, here is how you succeed. Here is how you do better. Here's how, it's this webinar. Here's how you make it through a recession. We have, so many people here listening today, and some of you, all of you may never become clients. But I hope all of you take at least one thing that I'm saying today and are able to make it through your business or better your business or better your clients' businesses because of something I've shared. And if I've done that, then I've won. And I can go to sleep at night feeling good about myself. Even if I don't know that that's what happened, I can feel good knowing that there are people in here listening and knowing that I'm giving you really valuable information, even if you don't end up becoming a Content Journey client. Do I think maybe one day one of you might? I hope so. Or maybe one of you go, hey, this Lindsey lady gave some really great advice and we can't afford her right now, but maybe you should give her a call to a friend in 3 months. That might work out. And that's called unselfish marketing. And that's my like internal principle. And it's something that I share with all of you because it'll work. It'll help you thrive as a human. It'll help your business thrive, and it'll make your clients also do better. And it's low cost, and it makes the world a better place. And finally, Content Marketing Institute says 65% of the most successful content marketers have a strategy. I take that one step further. A strategy is only so good if you actually do the work. And that's why we have our team here, is because we come up with a strategy and we actually do the implementation. We take all the work off of your plate and we come up with all of it. So we create the plan, we do the execution, and we follow up with those statistics for you and those numbers and those reports, and we're making sure that it's effective and it's actually working for you. So here's a sort of things. You can rock this recession if you start in your house. Look at your own clients, make sure that you have your processes in place, that you're delighting everyone that you have already, that you're investing in really smart ways, that you're being proactive in your actions, not reactive, that you're continuing on your path, that you're using unselfish marketing tactics to make the world a better place and to continue helping other people, even in times of turmoil or stress. And my final thought is now is the time to start, not stop your efforts. Just like our clients in 2020, those original 5, is several of them, it was their first time to invest in digital marketing, and it paid off for them hand over fist, and they're still reaping those rewards. So if you're worried, if you're concerned of what to do, now's the time to start your digital marketing, not stop, not be scared, and just keep pushing forward. Here are all the places that you can find me: LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You can also email me directly at lindsey@contentjourney.com. I am going to go ahead and stop the recording, but I will stick around for questions and answers for all of the people who are in attendance. And thank you so much for being here today.